Welcome to the Harm Reduction video series. Today we are going to show you how to use a fentanyl test strip. Testing your supply to decrease overdose risk is important, especially if you are using substances other than opioids. So first we'll show you all of the supplies that we have here for you to use. We have our fentanyl test strip here, which shows you how to read the result once you get it. We have our sample to test. We also have a cooker here, which will help us to test our sample. If you were to be heating this, you could actually put this on so that you wouldn't burn your fingers. We also have some water here. This is sterile water. You don't need sterile water. You could use bottled water that hadn't been open, but ideally something that hasn't been contaminated with your supply. If you plan to inject your substance, we have a sterile syringe here. And then depending on what you're testing, if it does not come in powder form, we would recommend that you grind it really finely. And this is a plastic razor here, so you can't cut yourself on it, but really grinding finely whatever you have to test for fentanyl. So when we're testing a substance for fentanyl, we want to try to use supplies that haven't been contaminated with other substances. We have at the bottom here our fentanyl test strip pamphlet, so you have all of the information you need for the future. So first things first, you will take a small amount of the supply that you want to use. Some people recommend that you put the water in first. Some folks like to put the sample in first. I prefer to put the sample in, and then that way, if you don't want a lot of your sample to go into your cooker for this test, you can just use a little bit. And if you put too much in, you can put it back into whatever baggie you have. So we have just a little bit of our sample here. You really only need about the amount of grain of rice. So this is actually a little bit too much. You don't need this much. Then you're going to open your water and put your water in here. And you need only about 5 mLs, but use what you have. And then in this case, you're going to want to mix this around so that the substance dissolves. We don't have a pusher, but I do have the back of this sterile syringe, so I'm going to use that to dissolve my substance. It's really important to test substances that are non-opioids for fentanyl. So if you're planning to use methamphetamines or cocaine, a non-prescribed benzodiazepine, any sort of pressed pill, really helpful to test for fentanyl so that you can be aware of how to reduce your risk for overdose. So then I have my fentanyl test strip here. I'm just going to open the packet, and then it shows you how to read the sample. And then you'll take this out. You'll take the tip off, the cover off the tip, and then just submerge that in the solution for 15 seconds. We have prepared for this. So you'll submerge it for 15 seconds, you'll lay it down, and then after 5 minutes, you'll have your reading here. So let's just show you how to interpret it. We have the control line here and then the test line. If the control line is not present, it means you need to get out a new test strip. If you have the test line present, it means it's negative. So actually, if there's nothing where that test is, it means that it's positive. If you're unsure, assume that it's positive. If your supply is positive for fentanyl, it means that you might need to do different things to reduce your risk for overdose when you use that supply, if you use it. And we do have information on our pamphlet for how to reduce that risk. you.